Hey, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to talk about, these Meta layoffs that continue to be circulating in the news. I think there's a lot of press stating that it's anticipated for Meta to lay off anywhere between 15,000 to 20,000 employees. There's no confirmation yet. Employees haven't been laid off, but it sounds like this is something that's in the works. And now, when I look at this, living down here in the Bay Area, being close to where Meta's headquarters is, working at a major tech company myself, I'm not surprised. I mean, Meta's done this in the past. Meta's, overhired and then laid off people, all in the sense of trying to run the company more lean, be more profitable, be more of an attractive stock to investors. And right now, with the amount of money that they're spending when it comes to just AI development, all of the people that they've hired as, from top executives to come oversee their AI development, it was gonna hit a point in time in which they were going to need to cut costs again in order to continue to show profitability and be attractive to shareholders and new investors. And so that's what all of this stuff is. It's all about profits. It's all about, cutting costs so that they can continue to develop AI. Maybe some of this will be from, AI replacing some of the jobs. But I think a lot of companies right now are laying off people, not because they have AI replacing entry-level jobs yet. I think that's going to come in the future. I think a lot of companies are doing it because they want to ramp up AI production within their organization. And part of developing AI within the organization is developing it in a way where it can replace jobs. And because they're doing so, they're going to need to cut costs, particularly from payroll, particularly from how much they're spending on labor, in order to be able to show the same level of profitability they had prior to them, spending money on AI development. That's just my personal take on it. And I'm not from the camp that's, wants to argue whether this is right or wrong, but I think for just everyday people, we need to look at these situations as eye-opening situations that helps us figure out how we want to move within the organizations that we work at. I work at a big tech company. I would like to believe that based off the position I hold, my level of work that I do, I wouldn't be laid off, but you never know. People need to understand within America, most of the jobs that we work at are at-will employment, meaning the company can let you go for pretty much any reason unless it violates, some law. And you can leave working for the company as well at any time. It's at-will employment, right? We're not in a contract. Companies are not obligated to keep you around. And so our relationships when it comes to our employers need to be viewed as transactional. And it's clear that a lot of companies view their relationship with employees as transactional, which is why they conduct so many layoffs. And we've seen several layoffs within the past few years. But I don't know how many employees actually view their relationship with their employer as transactional. I think what happens is oftentimes employees believe that they're going to work at the company that they're working at for forever. They get really enticed by the types of benefits and perks that the company offers, and that allows them to believe that they're safe and that they're never going to be laid off. People start to, especially like in big tech, and you see it down here in the Bay Area, a lot of people get these huge salaries, big RSU compensation packages, and they inflate their lifestyle and build a lifestyle that would only be sustainable if they were to keep that job. They don't hedge by putting a lot of money in savings or putting a lot of money towards investments, and are essentially conducting their life as if they're untouchable from layoffs. And then they're shocked when they get laid off and they hit financial hardships because their life has been adjusted to a level that's only sustainable from working at that company. And I think that's just not financially wise. I got laid off back in 2022 working for a tech startup company. They're a Series B VC-backed company. I got laid off. I was a top performer at that company. A week later, multiple other people from the organization got laid off. And then 2 weeks later, the company dissolved, meaning they closed down. operations. They're based out of New York. They had locations out here in the Bay Area. And the reason they closed down is because they couldn't receive additional funding. And that situation taught me so much about how I need to be prepared for anything to happen at any of the companies I work at. And I was glad that when I worked at that company, I was financially smart and I put a lot of money away so that when I was laid off, I didn't face financial hardships, and it gave me time to think and pivot, and I had a lot of runway to be able to build out a strategy for what I wanted to do next. And I think a lot of people need to do that. I think a lot of people need to view their relationship with their employer as transactional. But when I say transactional, I'm not one of these people that says view your relationship with your employer as transactional and do the bare minimum at the company. That's not what this is about. What this is about, and what this mindset and adopting this mindset's about, is understanding that it's at-will employment. I'm not owed anything beyond what the company says they're going to provide for me while I work for the company, but I need to be able to be prepared for anything to occur. And anything to occur meaning my working relationship with this company ceasing, even if I have good performance. And what you see often when you work with an organization is companies want to extract as much as they can out of you, meaning they want you to put in long hours, they want you to bring your innovative ideas, your hard work. If you work in customer service, strong customer service skills, positive attitude. They want you to grow and develop and give more to an organization. And I don't believe anything with that's wrong. What I do challenge employees to do more of is to reciprocate that same energy back. And how I pivot and how I move within the organizations that I've worked at is I'm seeking to get as much as I can from the organization. I'm taking advantage of every single benefit that the company offers. For example, at the company that I'm working at now, they offer tuition assistance. They offer free access to a major certification platform that would cost me $150 per month, but I get it for free. So I'm taking every certification I can to develop my skill set. I take on extra projects and extra tasks at all of the companies that I've worked at because I view that as valuable experience that I can add to my resume, which gives me more leverage in the job market in case I was to get laid off. A lot of people have this approach where they want to do the bare minimum because they believe companies aren't going to be loyal to them, and they don't really take advantage of the opportunities they have at the organizations that they work at. And if they did, they would be able to get so much leverage from experience, from skills, from certifications. Doing more than the bare minimum can help set you up really well, even in this environment where layoffs can happen at any point in time. So I'm always in the camp that I'm trying to take on extra projects and extra tasks, anything that can give me a competitive advantage in this job market is what I'm looking to do, because I view my relationships with all the employers I've worked at as transactional. And it really hit home when I got laid off back in 2022. Fortunately, at the company I work at right now, from what I've seen, they haven't done, major layoffs. That's typically not how they conduct business, but I'm not going to be complacent and operate in the mindset that can't occur. I put out a previous video talking about how I'm going to be saving aggressively in 2026. That's part of the reason. You see a lot of this stuff going on within the labor market, within the job market, developments in AI. I don't want to get complacent and believe that I'm untouchable. That is a very dangerous mindset to operate in. And so I'm going to save a lot of money. I'm going to level up and build as many skills as I can. I'm going to take on projects that make my resume stronger, that make me a more competitive applicant, because in the event, say that I did get laid off, I want to give myself the best shot to be able to bounce back quickly. But the people that don't do that, the people that, join these big companies like Meta, are enticed by these big, salaries and RSU packages. They view themselves as being untouchable. They don't plan for the unforeseen, and then they're devastated when stuff like 15,000 of them are going to get laid off. And I would not be surprised if that happened. And that's going to devastate a lot of people, particularly living out here in the Bay Area. I mean, it's expensive, and it's not going to be difficult to be able to find, work, because if 15,000 people get laid off from this organization, and there's still people that are struggling to find work from previous layoffs from Amazon and, other major tech companies that have happened within the past few years, it's going to be a more competitive job market. And with the amount of money being invested into AI development, we don't know how long it's going to be before we're able to see a resurgence in jobs. Like, we just don't know. It's not something that we can control, but people need to prepare as if they can get laid off. And it starts with just having a fundamental understanding of at-will employment. Again, like, at-will employment is, and understanding that concept is one of the most important things to be able to help you navigate a career. And then keep in the mindset that your relationship with your employer is purely transactional. Please don't take, again, that this concept of transactional as being negative. I think of it just as business. I've studied business. I love business. This is part of business. And when you strip emotion aside and you understand that a lot of these decisions are made on business, then you can move more like efficiently, like in this kind of like space, right? Like, you can, I wouldn't say stick it back to an employer, but you can definitely ensure that there's reciprocity in the relationship, that you're getting the most out of working for the company that you're working at, versus just showing up, doing the bare minimum, and not taking advantage of the benefits and the opportunities and the experiences that you can develop to make yourself a more attractive, employee within the labor market. Or you're not also falling into the camp of people that's delusion and just believes that they're going to have a 10, 15, 20, 30-year career at one company. Because I think for most people, those days are gone. Those days of just staying 15, 20, 30, 40 years at one company is likely not going to happen. There's so much that's out of your control, and you need to prepare as if you could be laid off tomorrow. And for most of the companies that we work at, they are probably planning your layoffs right now, because when you're laying off a lot of people at companies, this isn't something that you can just easily do within a day's time. This is stuff that might be getting planned out quarters in advance, maybe even years in advance. And so I just view, any place that I work at now, since I've been laid off back in 2022, as temporary, even though I've been at this company that I'm working at for 3.5 years. And I think that's a healthy mentality to have. And it creates a level of balance in the relationship that we have with our employers. And I've stripped all emotion away from this. Like, I don't have any ill feelings towards my employer. I come in, I show up, I do the best. I try to achieve, if not exceed, expectations. And I try to extract as much as I can working at the organization that I work at, because I know that in our employee-employer relationship, they're looking to get the most out of me as well. So there has to be reciprocity. There has to be a level of balance. And I need to be able to walk away with something if, God forbid, a layoff was to occur. So that's just kind of my thoughts right now when it comes to layoffs. I think the layoffs might occur with Meta. I wouldn't be surprised. They've done mass layoffs in the past. I think it was in 2022 or 2023 they did. They cut a significant portion of, their workforce, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do this again. But people need to prepare and believe that layoffs could occur within the company they have. So if you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe. I'm going to continue to just be dropping daily videos documenting, my navigation through a career, sharing insights that I've had and success in navigating my career, giving financial kind of updates on different portfolios and investments that I've been into, sharing the wins, the losses, and things that I'm navigating, as well as, giving a glimpse into what it's like, welcoming in a new family. I recently got married, have a newborn son, and just want to build a community of people that want to ride with me on this journey. So hope you have a good day. Take care.